All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May edition of the Canyon Country Advisory Committee, and I'm glad to see you here this evening. We're competing with a lot of other meetings this evening, one of them being the Sanitation Board meeting that's going on at City Hall right now, but we'll talk about that because we know what the staff recommendation was going to be. So for tonight, we've kind of rearranged. Spence helped me rearrange the meeting right here at the beginning. And we've already done the flag salute, so we'll go through announcements to make up some time for AMR to get here. We've kind of reversed things that we normally do. We'll start off by doing the election and then doing the latest updates on high-speed rail, the community center medians. And by that time, Mr. Nelson Jones should be here to give us the AMR presentation. Then I think you're going to find something very interesting that we're going to talk about, and that is the City of Santa Clarita and the Regional Water Quality Board's agreement that they made that they put together in 2012. And when they did that, that's the time when you hear the council people talking about and saying, oh, we've already been fined $900,000. Well, what you're going to find is that that was an agreement. That was a staff set up agreement, and we're going to talk about what it does because it's very interesting, and who pays the bill, and why you didn't know about it. And then we'll go into a discussion of what the Signal reported in four large editions. In 4 large editions, but Mr. Money got together and he put together 4 pretty good articles, very good articles on the east side, and that also fits right into a discussion of this Regional Water Board agreement, and you'll see how it all fits together. But the basic thing about it was that in the 4th part of the series, the city representatives started talking about the east side. And when Gail Morgan did so, she did so in a very derogatory way. So we'll talk about what she said and what we did and the response we've gotten back from the city after we sent in an email, and I'll show you what the email is that we sent in. You might have read it. It was in the Gazette as an article, and I'll tell you about how they responded to us. After that, we go through our version of public participation, and then probably what's going to happen at the next few meetings, and we'll adjourn promptly at 9 o'clock. So to get started, normally before the flag salute, we look for something or someone that's done some exceptional things during the last month. And I thought this picture really got to me, and it was posted before the latest group of riots took place in different areas. It always amazes me how people think that what they can do is tear down their own neighborhood because they're upset, and then wonder why they don't have anything left when it's all over. It's amazing. But in this particular case, what you saw a lineup of citizens standing in front of the police line to protect the police from any of the rioters. And I thought that's just your situation of becoming a hero just that day, just saying, you know what, we've got something that needs to be done, and we're going to go do it. So for announcements, we just have a few announcements. By the way, I got this email today. You might notice that today is May the 20th. And I got this email at 11:30 today telling me that if I wanted to talk about my favorite library, city library, I could go to the Canyon Country Library from 10:30 a.m. to noon. I was a little late. But if you want to talk to them about what you'd like the libraries to do, what kind of things you would like to see in the libraries, well, I tell you what, we've got the Valencia Library on tomorrow from 10:30 to noon because nobody works and everybody can just be there in the middle of the day. And then the Old Town Newhall Library on the 26th, which, let me see, what is the 26th? Is it 26th, huh? Tuesday. Well, of course, everybody can be there in the middle of the day then too, and so you can tell people what you want to see right there at the library services. High-speed rail. Now, we're going to talk about high-speed rail a little bit in a few minutes, but there's going to be another community open house meeting on the Palmdale to Burbank section. It's going to be in Santa Clarita, right here at the Activities Center, from 5 to 8 p.m. on June the 1st. I already know that this is going to be one of those situations where they have all the big screen TVs set up all around the room, and they're going to talk about all the little different parts of the alignment. And let's see what happens in this case. But we'll give a little bit more discussion about high-speed rail in a minute. Also, the car show in Burbank. I'm sorry, the car show in Newhall, in the right there on Main Street in Newhall, and on the 28th of June. So if you got a car that you want to show off, why, you can enter it right there in the car show, and there you go. So from attendance, we were just kind of in an idle section. And from video statistics, we only had, our top viewer was 35 this time, and what was amazing to me was it was the agenda. And nobody ever looks at the agenda. I can't believe it, but you know what, okay, there you go. But we'll keep tracking these things to see what is of the most interest to people around the community. What I'd like to do is start off with the Canyon Country Advisory Committee officer elections. I can't do it, so let me see. Who is here that can? Rick, you want to take it up? You want to take it?
I will, because I have to decline the
Okay. All right. So let's go and let's get that out of the way.
I was nominated to run for chair, but I have to decline because I'm a president of the board of directors and I can't hold two positions at once. So I would decline that. I thank you for the nomination, but I'm declining that one. Any other nominations for chair? Hearing none. Guess Al Ferdman will be elected by acclamation. Co-chair, Michael Cruz. Any other nominations for co-chair of the Canyon Country Advisory Committee? Judy?
Richard Cardenas.
Richard Cardenas and Michael Cruz up for co-chair. Okay, and then shall we hold the election now? I suppose so. We have two. Michael?
Mike isn't here. Is he in the back, but I don't know he's there?
No, he's not here.
Then he can't.
Okay, so then we have Richard Cardenas, and all in favor of Richard Cardenas for co-chair?
Aye.
1, 2, 3. And then you say Michael Cruz can't be nominated, so we'll say Michael or Richard Cardenas will be elected as co-chair of the Canyon Country Advisory Committee. That's one kangaroo election, isn't it? All right, secretary. Judy Tallor was nominated.
And I have to decline because I'm secretary of the board of directors. And you can't hold two offices.
So would anybody nominate anybody for secretary of the Canyon Country Advisory Committee? We'll have to table that till next meeting and hold another nomination, or if somebody would like to be our secretary. So for the year 2015-16, our chairman will be Alan Ferdman, and our co-chair will be Richard Cardenas. That's it. Congratulations, Al. Congratulations, Richard.
Let's talk a little bit about high-speed rail at the community center and medians. I know that our AMR representative is here, Nelson Jones is here. So we'll go through this really quickly and then we'll bring him right up. From the first standpoint, there was an April 22nd high-speed rail meeting at the Activities Center. And it's unfortunate that so few residents attended. It was probably the most open high-speed rail meeting I've been to. What they did was they had invited a bunch of community members. They had a table set up in a horseshoe around the meeting room. There was a back and forth dialogue that went on about the alignments. But unfortunately, like I said, there were very few residents there. And they talked to us about the upcoming meetings, and we knew what was going to happen. So when these kind of things take place, we ought to look at what it is and which format it's going to be, and attend if they hold another one of their community workshops like that. Next, the city put on a high-speed rail. I can only call it a big cheering section. It took place at the Canyon Country Gymnasium. I don't know how many of you were there. There was, they said there were 1,600 people there. You can see in the picture, you're looking at the back of Tim Ben Boydston as he's speaking to the crowd. You can see all those yellow signs, and all those yellow signs were people from Acton. So there were people from all over the valley that attended that meeting. And actually, the city paid to have it videotaped, and I videotaped it, and we asked what we were going to do with it, I offered to give them my tape as well, but I haven't heard a word back. So it was a big rally. It was very well attended. Everybody got to talk about what they thought. I'm going to put my comments out it's actually out on YouTube now. I'll include the link in our update from our meeting. You can see exactly what I said about it as well. But it was a very good meeting. Now, coming from that is going to be the next yes.
How was the meeting where nobody attended publicized?
The which meeting?
The meeting that there were only a dozen people. How was it publicized?
You know, actually, from all the people that were going to be around the table, and to me it looked like that was, probably 40 or 50 people, they got a phone call saying, will you come to the meeting? So they got emails, they got phone calls. That was all from people that had been to prior meetings that they had information on. So it also was in the paper, but I don't think that really, when you put something in the paper, it doesn't really seem to draw that much attention. But they actually were calling people. So now from that meeting, there was also another smaller meeting, a smaller community group meeting where I got invited to, where they talked about the alignments as well. And now they're going to come and show us some of the final results of where they think those alignments can go. Now they're still up in the air as to which one they're going to pick, and I'm amazed. I mean, like what I said at the other meeting is, at the first meeting I asked the question, how long is the SR-14 alignment? And they said it's 45 miles. And how long is the eastern alignment? And they said it's 35 miles. So, well, how much tunneling is there in each one? They said it's about the same amount. I said, well, why are we even talking about the longer alignment? But we'll see what happens. On the Canyon Country Community Center, I thought was a really cool deal. This again surprised me. It was a really good event and a good meeting, and it was also not very well attended. But you can see here, you can see Rick Drew, you can see Anna Marie, you can see me, you can see Hardy there is Dwayne Hardy is there. You can see Diane Troutman, and then you see a lot of staff people. I think there were as many staff people there as they were from the community. But we walked around the whole area, and when we did, the Signal published an article about it, and it pretty much, I think it really represented what was said about the area. The area is kind of a fixer-upper. It has plenty of defects in it. It has around it is some very dilapidated backs of buildings, but it has a lot of potential. And it did draw a lot of praise because it is central in the Canyon Country area, and it's close to major roads. It's close right to Sierra Highway, and that looks like the way that we're going to be getting in and out of that area. The property is kind of odd shaped and has this triangle cut out of the large main section in the middle, and that property ends up, it's owned by the county. So everybody said, hey, the city should go work with the county and go get that land for use as well, because I don't understand why they would want it either. But if they do get it, then it makes that a really nice rectangular piece of property. And in the paper, they were quoting, of course, the people that said the smartest things, and Rick Drew was quoted. And it said, with a little bit of aesthetics work, landscaping, walls, and things like that, I think it could be a real cornerstone for Canyon Country, and I think it will be. Understand that there's a 5-year lease on the existing temporary community center, so we know that there's not going to be anything happening there for at least 2 years. Median maintenance, just really quick. This is getting a little frustrating. You remember on February the 2nd, we shared a video with Ken Striplin of needed maintenance on the Soledad Canyon medians from Sand Canyon to Shadow Pines. And when we talked with him a little bit later, we also said, you know, we know that you're having a great deal of problems. You're going to have a big problem with the drought. You're going to have issues with keeping all these medians alive. So we're going to kind of back off a little bit and just let's see how you do on maintaining this median. So last month we reported that replacement effort was underway because we did see about a dozen guys out there on the medians doing what they do. But you know what? They were out there for a day and then they quit. They were gone. So I went back and I sent in an email to Kevin, and I'm not going to belabor the back and forth emails with Tenoyan, but finally I called Striplin and said, what are you going to do? Are you going to finish this? What's going on? So because the replanting wasn't completed and there still is a lot of barren spots, so he made another commitment, and his commitment was to remove all the dead plants by the 15th, and I went back and checked, and they're pretty much gone. And now they're going to do the replanting the week of May the 26th. So, and he mentioned, he said, you know, we have a lot of other issues that we got to deal with, specifically in shutting off all the water to the medians that have turf in them. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully this time we finally get something done. But understand this, still, you know, we talked about the fact that we're spending $1 million to have 3 companies go and look at the medians and tell the city what repairs are necessary. And I told you what I was going to do, and I did it. I went and I sent in a public records request and said, I want to see the contracts, I want to see the RFPs, I want to see the responses to the RFPs of what they're going to do for this money. And so they finally sent me back an answer and said, well, you know, you've asked for stuff that has to be gathered from different organizations, so we'll have it done for you by the end of the month. So we'll wait and see what we get. But it's frustrating because if it takes, let's see, February, it's March, April, May. If it takes 3 months to get something done on one of the medians, when we know that there's issues all around the city, and if we're overwhelming them with one median, we'll have to wait and see what. Whoops, I keep clicking the wrong thing. So do we have any public participants? No public participants. All right, for our next meeting, we're going to try to see if we can get the railroad guys here, and we'll also see if we can get Spence to give another one of his monologues at the beginning of the meeting.
I will.
Okay, there you go.
Will it be the ongoing saga of the treated town?
Okay. We'll have an update on the medians, good or bad. And I had promised you before that I would put in a public records request and find out about those companies that are supposed to be monitoring our medians. I've done that. I'm supposed to get an answer by the end of the month. I'll report to you what it says. I was especially interested in it because they awarded the contracts to 3 companies, and I could only find one of them on the internet. I could not find the other 2. They didn't have a website. They didn't have a Facebook page. I could not find them. So I'm really interested to see what we get. I'm also going to talk to you about unanswered emails, because those aren't the only emails that I've sent in that have been unanswered. Okay, and we'll talk about it as well. Other items of interest, we'll go through a business improvement district, I think, because it's another one of these things. And we can talk a little bit about crime statistics this time because it was just announced that we were the, 3rd safest city with residents over 100,000, the first, and then the next day, you know, we had 2 murders or something. So we'll see how that impacts anything. But anyway, I want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight at the County Country Advisory Committee, for choosing to join us, and I welcome you back again next month. Thank you.